Welcome to Finance with Abram. In this video, I want to give a summarization, kind of overview of the stock moves that Warren Buffett made in the second quarter of 2023, because he's definitely done some selling and some buying of stocks and some exiting of stock positions completely. So completely selling out of a few stocks as well. And we're just going to go over that and what he's done, because Warren Buffett, in my opinion, is simply one of the best investors of all time. And it's a chance that you probably think the same. You know, a lot of people think that of Warren Buffett, definitely as far as value investing, long-term investing. I mean, not all of his positions are long-term. Sometimes he gets in a position and exits out later that year, within a year or so, or a year or two. If he sees things he doesn't like, with the financials or management, he definitely is not afraid to exit a position. Although he stays in positions sometimes for a long time, like Bank of America, American Express. There's some positions he's been in for years and years and decades. So yeah, for sure. But we're going to go into it right here. Just got to go over what he's done in the second quarter of 2023, because it's really interesting to see what Warren Buffett does. And I know a lot of people pay attention to it. I pay attention to it. I don't follow everything he does. I don't buy stocks when he does and things like that. But it is nice to see, like when he's into a stock that I'm also in, or he buys into a stock that I'm already in, or I'm thinking about buying, it's like, oh, nice, stamp of approval. You know what I mean? So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it right here. Let's jump into his portfolio. I want to show you here how his portfolio looks right here at the top. You've got Apple. Around 50% of his portfolio is Apple. That's his main holding right there. He owns, over 900 million shares of this stock right here. And then you got Bank of America, definitely a large position in his portfolio that he's had for a long time. Over 1 billion shares right there, around 8% of his portfolio. American Express, like I was stating, around 7% of his portfolio, 151 million shares. Coca-Cola, no, that's definitely another one he's had for a long time right there, almost 7% of his portfolio, and so on. You kind of see the rest of his portfolio. So let's jump into what he's done right here, because he's made some moves. As you see, he hasn't done a lot. A lot of his top holdings, he hasn't really touched them recently right there. Didn't buy any, didn't sell any, just holding on, because Buffett overall is a long-term investor. He doesn't do a lot of buying and selling and exiting positions, enter positions, like I was stating. And sometimes he'll grow positions. When he starts a new position, he doesn't really go all in at once. He does some dollar cost averaging, DCA. It's rare that I've seen of him to just go in a position once, just buy it once and not buy any more. Or he might go in at once and then exit or something, maybe, or maybe go in a little bit more then exit. But usually when he jumps in a position, starts a new position, that's not going all in for him. So he has a couple of new positions, and I'm going to tell you about those right here. So first up right here, we see him, he sold over 9 million shares, 7% so, of Chevron. And Chevron is in the energy industry right there. Chevron, oil and gas. So however, he bought more of Occidental Petroleum, Oxy, ticker symbol OXY, which is in the energy sector as well right there. Over 12 million shares, so over 5% right there. 12.42 million shares were bought during the quarter ending on, June 30th, 2023. That's what we're talking about right here, the second quarter of 2023, at an average price of $60.62 right here. So his average price right now, he's $51.25. So he's been increasing his position in this stock and dollar cost averaging, but going up. So that's showing something as well. He's not just buying it like on the way down or buying dips or something like that. He's got conviction in this stock right here. So he's buying more of it, even as the price is higher than his average price. So, and he does that when he's really into a stock like Apple. Apple's been on the runway. They've been going up and up, and recently in this past week or so they've been down, of course, but they hit all-time highs recently before they did that. And he's was buying Apple earlier this year, last year, so that he will buy a stock when it's higher than what his price is if he really likes the stock. So he's doing that with Oxy right here. Chevron, let's see right here, so he sold, at an average price of $160.26, but his average buy price is around $129. So I'm pretty sure he sold for a profit right there of Chevron. So let's go down here. As you see, not many moves right here: Kraft, Moody's, HP, Citigroup. He recently started a position there not too long ago. Kroger, Visa. Warren Buffett increased his position in Capital One, ticker symbol COF. So he bought over 2 million shares right there, 2.55 million shares at an average price of $102.77 right there. And so above his average cost price right there of $96.24. So that's a 25.69% increase right there, with his total shares right there of Capital One at 12.47 million. So yeah, that was a nice big increase right here for him with Capital One. And you see that he recently got into Capital One not that long ago right here. Shows in the first quarter of 2023. It seems like when he started his position in Capital One. So he's definitely aggressively increasing that right now. And also he sold some of his Activision Blizzard right there, a big chunk of it right there, 34.78 million shares, down 70% right there of his total position right there at an average price of $84.95. This play right here is kind of like a arbitrage, had a lot to do with Microsoft acquiring Activision. And, there was a lot of back and forth of whether or not they'll be able to do that and the courts and all that like that. And oddly enough, he's not in Microsoft, which I'm surprised he's kind of not in Microsoft. I thought he would be because of Microsoft in general and because of his relationship with Bill Gates, but maybe that's why he's not or something. Maybe some kind of clause. I don't know exactly the details of why he's not, but I'm just kind of like, he probably should be in Microsoft. That would be a good one to be in. But so yeah, so he sold a big chunk of that right there of Activision. Average price of $73.37. He made that purchase was it last year? He made that purchase in Activision a while back before the stock was started rising more and more. So he's definitely made some profits off of that, it looks like. And then also another sale, General Motors, ticker symbol GM, sold 18 million shares of that one right there. So 45% of his portfolio right there. Average price of $37.62 with his average cost basis at $33.16. So he sold a big chunk of General Motors. And what that looks like to me, it looks like he's about to exit that position. Maybe I'm not, and I don't know, obviously he could, just keep it like this where he's at, the million shares. He may just keep it, he may just keep his position where it's at. He may increase later on. I can't speak for him, obviously. But when he sells this much right there, it looks like he's exiting a position or definitely thinking about it for sure. And then we have this new buy here. He has 3 new buys right here that are really making the headlines in the home builder section right here, which are really making headlines. And they started to jump after hours on Monday, of course, right there. You hear Warren Buffett's buying a stock and then people start piling in, So yes, the 3 stocks that he recently bought. First one right here, D.R. Horton, home builder, ticker symbol DHI right there. So he bought 5.97 million shares of that, average price of $109.69. And I'm going to go to the other buys and I'll go back to the sales and everything here. And he also bought NVR, ticker symbol NVR, over 11,000 shares right there. Average price $5,961.41. They got that big share price on that one right there for sure. So yeah, not huge positions he's starting in there. As you see his portfolio, DR Horton, 0.21% of the portfolio, NVR, 0.02% of the portfolio. And then the other one he bought, which is less than 0.01% of his portfolio, Lennar, ticker symbol LENB. So he bought over 152,000 shares of it, with an average price of $101.15 right there. So you see a small percentage of his portfolio, but still notable. I mean, it's still a lot of money for sure. I mean, for anybody, for Buffett even is, he's not going to just do it and just, want to lose the money. Obviously, yeah, he's super rich, but he doesn't like losing money either. So he's not like gambling really or anything like that. So he bought 3 home builder stocks, which is interesting. And one thing that's making the headlines and things is because the real estate, kind of what's going on with the real estate, is kind of a questionable, sector to be in. Things with, possible recession, home prices going up so much and the inventory being low and the interest rates being, on the higher end for home prices. Historically, they're not like super high. I mean, there was like double digit, interest rates and things for houses, decades ago and things like that. But as far as like in the past decade, yeah, they're high for that because it was like, 3%, 4%, 2 point something percent, mortgage rates and things were going around. So like, I think I've seen a statistic like over like around 90 or 80% of the homes in America, the people that are in their homes have a mortgage rate under 6%, which currently, it's around that 6-7% amount. So yeah, it's definitely kind of a, questionable area right there for some people right there, but home builders. So he is making his stance right there in the home builder section by buying those 3 stocks right there, DR Horton, Lennar, and NVR. So very interesting right there. Let's go back over to his portfolio. Also another sale, he sold to Celanese Corp, ticker symbol CE. So he sold 3.46 million shares, average price of $112.35 right there. Still has a position in this company right there, but that was a big chunk of it right there, 5.36 million shares right there, 0.18% of his portfolio. So not, huge, but definitely not small. He's got all these 0.02% and less than 0.01% position as well. So yeah, it's definitely somewhat notable right there. Also, he sold a lot of his position in Globe Life, ticker symbol GL. So he sold 3.84 million shares of it right there, average price of $109.82. And we talked about NVR, he bought a new position in that one right there, home builder. And also talked about Lennar, new home builder right there, new stock right there he bought in the home builder industry. And then he exited 3 positions right here. And it's not in this order. I'm just doing it in this order of his portfolio, basically, like the position in his portfolio, the, percentage of his portfolio. So he also exited Vitesse Energy, ticker symbol VTS, all of it right there, 100%. Over 51,000 shares, average price of $20.72. Looks like his average around $19. So it's like a profit on that. And he also sold McKesson Corp right there, healthcare company right there, ticker symbol MCK. So he sold 2.29 million shares of that right there. Average price $391.68. Looks like his average cost basis was $280.70. So it looks like a profit on that one. And also he exited Marsh & McLennan, ticker symbol MMC right there. Over 404,000 shares, average price of $177.32. average cost right there of that one, he had $113. So it looks like a nice profit on that one as well. So yeah, he exited 3 stocks right there. And like you see, they weren't huge percentages of his portfolio right there. And Marsh & McLennan, which is in the insurance and finance industry right there, so about 0.02% of his portfolio sold out of that. McKesson Corp was about 0.23% of his portfolio. More notable right there with that position. So he sold out of that one completely in the healthcare industry right there, over 2 million shares. And then Vitesse Energy right there, sold out of that. That was a lower position for him underneath that 0.01% of his portfolio right there, only 51,000 shares. Still, of course, a lot of money, but yeah, he sold out of that one completely in the energy sector. So he's not necessarily like leaving sectors completely, you know, seems like, because he still has energy, he still has finance, he definitely still is heavy into energy, you know, with that Oxy, he's still buying on Oxy for sure, and he's still, you know, got a lot of Chevron going on right there, and still into finance as well, you know, with Bank of America, American Express, Visa, Citigroup, MasterCard, you know, so yeah, definitely still in those industries. It's definitely interesting when he sells out of position completely. So it's definitely saying a lot right there. In other finances and New Holdings, that's an international play right there on the finances and banking right there. Definitely really big in South America. New Bank right there, ticker symbol NU. I'm into that one as well. And Ally Financial is another one he's in. And it's Capital One, which he increased his position in. So still heavy in financials for sure. But in energy, and with those were some of his top holdings. We went over those right there. But, and then also I'm looking for healthcare, and I'm thinking, you know, maybe he's not really much into healthcare. You know, that's a sector that has been beaten down some, that he's really not that much into, is healthcare. And he has Procter & Gamble, and he has Johnson & Johnson, which Johnson & Johnson is more, you know, tied to healthcare. To Procter & Gamble is more consumer staples and things like that. But Johnson & Johnson has consumer staples as well. But he has a position in those as well. You know, those are major companies right there. But he did sold out of that, you know, McKesson Corp right there. So that was interesting, getting out of that healthcare play right there. But yeah, so that is Warren Buffett's portfolio right there. You see it, all his positions right there, around what, 48 position stocks right there in his portfolio right there, Berkshire Hathaway. And very interesting when he makes moves and when he holds and what he owns right there. And yeah, so yeah, that is it with the video right there of the moves that Warren Buffett has made right there with Berkshire Hathaway in that portfolio for the second quarter of 2023. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Take care.